The moving ahead, the third garden features is plant features. In this, first we will discuss hedges, topiary, bonsai and aging in it. Hedge is a continuous line of shrubs, trees or sometimes climbers planted with the intention of forming a boundary or division in the garden. Hedges and screens are permanent. Living barriers define space and provide attractive backgrounds. At one stretch, it consists of all one type of plant. The hedges may be clipped in formal appearance or unclipped for natural look. It may be to any height between 0.3 to 6 meters. The ideal hedge should be capable of forming a dense barrier. It should have compact growth and freely branched even from the base, so that even cats and dogs may not be able to penetrate through these barriers. It should maintain its foliage close to ground even when it has grown to a considerable height. It should be suitable for severe pruning and frequent clipping, and though it is not essential, but preference should be for the evergreen varieties of the plants. Next plant feature is the topiary. Topiary is the art of clipping and training shrubs, trees and climbers to form paternal or artificial form such as balls, cones, spirals, pyramid, squares, rectangular, various architectural shapes and various animal shapes such as peacocks, pheasants, bears, rabbits, camel, giraffes, elephant and so on, just by clipping them regularly for sustaining the shape or by training against a wire frame and clipping to maintain the proper shape, especially in case of climbers. The plants for topiary should have dense and palleable growth, small leaf and should be amenable to frequent clipping. That the suitable plants are bougainvillea, then the Buxus sempervirens, then we have the another that is Casuarina equisetifolia, then we have the Clerodendron intern, then we have Cupressus macrocarpa, Cupressus the semipervirens, then Duranta premieri, then Disparate embryopteris, Dodonia viscosa, Hibiscus rosa sinensis and many more. The another feature related to plant in garden is the bonsai. It's an art of growing miniaturized forms of trees and shrubs in shallow trays by rigorous pruning of roots and branches. It is an age-old Chinese art with Japanese name, which means tray planting, because such plants are planted in a quite shallow containers, that is trays, to force the plant surviving on minimum possible nutrients and water. The various types in which bonsais are trained are that might be upright style, that is a formal upright, informal upright, broom and wide swept or winding, that is Kyokuk style. Then we have a slanting style, gnarled or Hanken style, then the cascade, that is semi or full, or it is called as the Kengai style, then multiple trunk style, then group planting, that is Ikadebuke, then plain or miniature bonsai, and class to stone style or rock bonsai. The most suitable plant species for making a bonsai are Adansonia digitata, Adenum obesum, Araucaria excelsa, bamboos, Bombax malabaricum, Bougainvillea, Butea monosperma, Citrus japonica, that is citrus orange or Chinese orange, then Erythrina christgalli, then Ficus bengalensis, Amelia patens, Hibiscus rosa sinensis, and many others. Coming to the next slide here, we have edging in the gardens. The term edging may be used to describe the act of trimming the edges of lawns or the use of bricks or river borne similar size stones or rocks, that is the non-living edges, or plants, that is the living edges, to edge path, beds and borders. It is employed in both type of gardens, that is formal and informal, to divide beds and borders from roads, walks or path. The plants used for edging should have handsome and evergreen foliage, and if possible with long lasting beautiful flowers, and should be amenable to neat trimming. The plants suitable for edging are divides as evergreen foliage and flowering plants. Evergreen, which includes the Alternantheria, then we have the Aspidistra, Caladium coleus, then Echeveria, Eupatrium, Irisine, Justicia, then Cochia, then we have Variegata, Palaris, then Pilea, Mucosa, Santolia, etc. And the flowering plants just have include that the Elysium, Brachycomb, Cineraria, the Gazania, the Gerbera, the Lobelia erinus, compactus, then we have a Saponaria, then we have a Torrenia and many other plants. Now we will talk about the borders in the gardens. Border is the term which a rather wide and loose application in gardens. In general, it can be referred to any bed which is prepared for some special purpose, that the vine border, which is usually completely enclosed by concrete or brick walls. Then we have the annual border, which are normally grown through seeds for flowering in the first season. The herbaceous border, set apart mainly for growing of herbaceous perennials. Then we have shrub borders, that is devoted exclusively to the growing of shrubs, and the mixed borders, which may include shrub, herbaceous perennials and annuals all together. Then the herbaceous border, which include all the herbaceous plants including herbaceous perennials, it might be flowering or non-flowering, all the bulbous plant as well as annuals. In annual border, only annual, that is seasonal flowers are to be planted, and in the mixed borders, annuals, biennials and herbaceous perennials all are planted in a mixed form. Moving forward, the next type of border is the shrubbery in gardens. The term shrubbery is applied to any piece of ground devoted to cultivation of shrubs. It is a mass of many shrubs in the form of a border in the garden. While talking about shrub borders, they create the outdoor living room, screen the views, and serve as a backdrop for annual and perennial flowers. The gradation of planting is just the same as for herbaceous border. These can be planted either for color display at one particular time or for successional display over a long period or throughout the year. Certain bulbs may also be planted under or in the vicinity of the shrubs for extra pleasure. Flowering span may also be extended by planting mixed shrubbery border with annuals and other herbaceous perennials. The shrubs for planting in the shrubbery border are Abelia chinensis, Adenium obesum, Alamanda cathartica, Bauhinia acuminata, Bauhinia galpinai, Bauhinia tomentosa, Bixa orellana, and Bougainvillea. Next is the trees, shrubs, and climbers, in which we will begin with the trees. A tree may be defined as any woody plants growing more than 5 meters in height with distinct trunk or main stem where branching occurs after a certain height and mostly making canopy at the top. Trees give a sense of permanence and maturity to a garden. They create a strong visual impact and can define enclosed space, emphasize path, and connect the garden with the surrounding landscape. The trees provide height, structure, and living sculptural focal points to a garden design. A shrub may be defined as any woody plant with no distinct main stem, generally branching from the ground level and growing not more than 5 meters in the height. Shrubs are little bushy trees, less in height than a tree, and have branching stems. Though the shrubs provide height and soft frame work in the garden, act as divider and demarcate the garden area in the form of hedges, act as a screen, work as a specimen plant, and serve as windbreaks, but in a garden it is the most abused category of the plants. Last one is the climber, that a climber may be defined as any woody, that is the perennial climber, or herbaceous, that is the annual climber, plant growing into any height from a few feet to a tall tree, but without a strong trunk to support itself. These may have special structures to climb over supports. These special organs may be tendrils, modified leaf stalks, rootlets, or hooks like thorns. There is slight difference among climbers, creepers, ramblers, and stragglers, trailers, and twiners. Additionally, the beauty of any garden is greatly enhanced if climbers are commonly grown on arches, pergolas, terraces, arbors, pillars, or similar structures. They are also used for screening and for providing privacy to the viewers. The climbers are also trained up a tree over the net houses, let houses, and conservatories. They are most suited for roof gardens where due to limitations of space, vertical growth is desirable. Moving to the last subtopics of the plant features, that is the carpet or design bedding, flower beds and sunken gardens. Let us first discuss the carpet or design bedding. It is referred to the use of group of closely planted, low-growing and colorful bedding plants in various formal patterns or designs. Sometimes these are also termed as geometrical bedding or fancy bedding. This is most expensive form of all kinds of bedding, the formation of which requires highest degree of technical skill. In Ramoji City Garden near Hyderabad, such things are beautifully displayed as you can see here in this figure. Flower beds are the beds of annuals or biennials or any other flowering ornamental grown as annual or biennial in the beds outside. Flower beds are most important by and large permanent features, especially in a formal garden, and whenever the season is over, these may be planted out immediately throughout the year. The beds may be of any shape such as circular, oval, kidney shape, square, rectangular or any other abstract design, as these are easy to maintain. Bedding plants are those annuals and biennials or others grown like these, generally raised inside up to maturity and then planted or bedded out, often in large blocks for instant or temporary display. Iceland beds should be visible from all the sides and are suitable for both formal and informal gardens. It should be geometrical, round, square or rectangular to suit formal gardens, while loosely curved Iceland beds are appropriate in the undulating ground and in informal gardens. The plants for such gardens are annuals, biennials and normally non-nude perennials, but should be sturdy, dwarf and compact in the habit. The last topic of the today is the sunken gardens. That sunken gardens brings another dimension to the garden and adds a feeling of space. Sunken gardens are usually square or rectangular in shape and laid below the eye level in geometrical design with formal flower beds divided by a symmetrical framework of path and walkways, preferably with a sculptural features such as a fountain or sundial in the center of such garden. And being lower than rest of the garden, normally such gardens are created as a sheltered situation but with proper drainage facilities. So now that's the end of today's video. In the next video, we will continue to explore more about garden feature. Till then, take care. Thank you.